Captain Lee Do-yoon stared at the endless black space through the bridge window of the research ship Arirang. The stars looked the same as they had for the past 3 months. His crew was getting tired of the routine work. They were supposed to map this empty region of space near the edge of human territory. So far, they had found nothing interesting. "Another day of looking at rocks and empty space," said engineer Kim Tae-hyung from his station. He was only 27 but already one of the best system analysts in the fleet. His fingers moved quickly over the control panels as he ran the daily scans. Dr. Park Jawan looked up from her workstation. She was the ship's communications specialist and language expert. At 29, she had already created 3 new translation programs for the Earth Defense Force. "At least the rocks don't complain about our cooking," she said with a small smile. Do-hyun almost smiled back. His crew was good at keeping their spirits up even during boring missions. They had been together for 2 years now. He trusted them completely. "Keep scanning, Tae-hyung. We still have 2 more sectors to check before we can go home." The bridge was quiet except for the soft sounds of the ship's systems. The Arirang was not a big ship. It had a crew of only 12 people. Most of them were scientists and engineers. They were not expecting to find any trouble out here. This was supposed to be empty space. Tae-hyung suddenly sat up straight. "Captain, I'm getting something strange on the long-range sensors." "What kind of strange?" Do-hyun moved to look over Tae-hyung's shoulder at the screen. "It's not natural. The signal is too regular, too organized." Tae-hyung's fingers flew over his controls. "It's definitely artificial, but it's not from any human source." Ji-won quickly moved to her communication station. "Can you isolate the signal? I want to run it through my translation programs." "Working on it now." Tae-hyung's face was serious. "Captain, this signal is heavily encrypted. Whatever is sending this doesn't want anyone to understand it." Do-hyun felt his heart beat faster. First contact with alien life was something every space captain dreamed about, but it was also something they feared. "Where is the signal coming from?" "That's the weird part. It's coming from inside our own solar system, from somewhere near the asteroid belt." Tae-hyung looked confused. "But there's nothing there on any of our star charts." "That's impossible," Ji-won said. "We've mapped every major object in the solar system. There's no way something could be hiding there." "I'm telling you what the sensors show," Tae-hyung replied. "The signal is definitely coming from coordinates that should be empty space." Do-hyun made a quick decision. "Ji-won, I want you to work on decrypting that signal. Tae-hyung, plot a course back toward the solar system. Stay hidden and keep scanning for more transmissions." For the next 6 hours, Ji-won worked on the alien signal. She tried every translation program she had ever created. Nothing worked. The language patterns were completely different from anything in human databases. But she did not give up. She had never met a code she could not break. Late that night, when most of the crew was sleeping, Ji-won finally made a breakthrough. She had been working on the idea that the signal might use mathematical concepts as a base language. All intelligent species would understand basic math, she thought. "Computer, run translation protocol Ji-won 7 on the intercepted signal," she said quietly. The computer worked for several minutes. Then words began to appear on her screen. At first, they made no sense. But as more of the signal was translated, Ji-won began to understand what she was reading. Her hands started to shake. "Captain Do-hyun to the bridge immediately," she called, over the ship's communication system. Do-hyun arrived within minutes, still putting on his uniform jacket. Tae-hyung was right behind him. "What is it, Ji-won?" "Sir, you need to see this." Ji-won's voice was very quiet. "I've managed to translate part of the alien signal. It's not a casual communication. This is an official directive." She pointed to her screen. The translated text was displayed in standard Korean characters. Do-hyun read the words and felt cold. Protocol 7 Alpha confirmed. Human containment boundaries remain stable. No unauthorized expansion detected in sectors 12 through 47. Continue surveillance operations as planned. "Containment boundaries?" Tae-hyung whispered. "They're talking about containing us?" Ji-won scrolled down to show more translated text. "There's more, Captain. Much more." The next section made Do-hyun's blood turn to ice. Project Genesis Reset remains on standby. Galactic Council approval required for implementation. Species classification, restricted development level 4. Recommendation: continue observation until technological threshold reached, then proceed with cultural sterilization protocols. Cultural sterilization, Do-hyun repeated slowly. They want to wipe out our civilization. It gets worse, Ji-won said. Her face was pale. Look at this next part. Emergency Council session scheduled. Location: Observation Post, Terra Prime. Time: 72 hours from this transmission. Subject: final determination on human species management. Options: graduation to galactic citizenship or implementation of Omega contingency. Tae-hyung sat down hard in his chair. They've been watching us. This whole time they've been watching us and deciding whether we live or die. Do-hyun tried to think clearly despite the shock. Ji-won, how long has this signal been transmitting? The transmission started about 6 hours ago. But Captain, I found something else in the ship's long-term sensor logs. We've been receiving weak signals from that same location for years. We just never noticed them because they were so faint and encrypted. Years, Do-hyun said quietly. They've been watching us for years. Maybe longer, Ji-won replied. The encryption suggests this is a very advanced communication system, much more advanced than anything we have. Tae-hyung was studying his sensor readings. Captain, I'm detecting multiple ships near those coordinates. They're using some kind of cloaking technology. I can only see them because we're specifically looking for that signal now. Do-hyun walked to the main view screen and stared out at the stars. Everything had changed in just a few hours. Humanity was not alone in the universe. But the aliens who shared their galaxy did not see them as equals. They saw them as a problem to be managed or eliminated. Sir, what are we going to do? Ji-won asked. Do-hyun was quiet for a long moment. Then he turned back to his crew. We're going to find out exactly what this observation post Terra Prime is, and we're going to learn what they're really planning for humanity. The signal mentioned a meeting in 72 hours, Tae-hyung said. If we're going to do something, we need to move fast. I know, Do-hyun replied. Tae-hyung, I want you to modify our sensors to track those cloaked ships. Ji-won, keep working on the translation. I want to know everything about this Galactic Council and their plans. Captain, Ji-won said carefully. Shouldn't we report this to Earth Command immediately? Do-hyun considered this. Earth Command would want to know about first contact with aliens, but they would also order the Arirang to return home immediately. There would be months of meetings and discussions while the Alien Council decided humanity's fate. Not yet, he decided. We need more information first. We need to know what we're really dealing with before we involve the politicians. Tae-hyung nodded. So we're going to investigate this observation post ourselves? That's exactly what we're going to do, Do-hyun said. We have 72 hours to find out if humanity has any friends in this galaxy, or if we're completely alone, The Arirang changed course toward the hidden alien station. None of them knew they were about to discover secrets that would change everything humanity thought it knew about its place in the universe. The journey back to the solar system took 18 hours. During that time, Ji-won continued working on the alien transmissions. She discovered more disturbing information with each decoded message. The aliens had detailed records of human history. They knew about every war, every technological advancement, every major event in human civilization. Captain, they have files on individual humans, Ji-won reported. Important leaders, scientists, military officers. They know more about us than we know about ourselves. Do-hyun studied the translated documents on Ji-won's screen. The level of detail was frightening. The aliens had been watching humanity for thousands of years, maybe longer. Tae-hyung called from his station. Captain, we're approaching the coordinates now. I'm detecting the cloaked station, but it's much bigger than I expected. How big? Do-hyun asked. About the size of a small moon, Tae-hyung replied. And it's definitely artificial. The power readings are enormous. Through the main view screen, they could see nothing but empty space and distant asteroids. But Taehyung's modified sensors showed the outline of a massive structure. It was shaped like a cylinder with multiple rings around it. Docking bays and communication arrays extended from various sections. "They've been operating a base this size in our own solar system," Ji-won whispered. "How did we never detect it?" "Advanced cloaking technology," Taehyung answered. "But I think I can get us close enough to dock without being detected. They're not expecting visitors." "Do it," Do-hyun ordered. "But be very careful. If they discover us before we learn what they're planning, humanity might not get another chance." Taehyung guided the Arirang toward the hidden station. His hands were steady, but Do-hyun could see the tension in his shoulders. One mistake would expose them to aliens who might see humans as a threat to be eliminated. The station grew larger as they approached. Through the sensors, they could see alien ships docked at various ports. The ships were sleek and advanced, with designs unlike anything in human engineering. Some were long and thin like spears. Others were round with multiple sections. A few looked like they were made of crystal. "I count at least 40 ships," Taehyung reported. "Different designs suggest multiple species are represented here." "Multiple species working together," Do-hyun noted. "This isn't just one alien race watching us. It's an alliance of some kind." Ji-won had been monitoring alien communications. "Captain, I'm detecting scheduled shift changes in 30 minutes. If we dock during the change, there might be less chance of detection." "Good thinking," Do-hyun said. "Taehyung, find us a docking port that looks unused." They waited in tense silence as alien workers moved between shifts. Through the sensors, they could see figures in environmental suits moving along the station's exterior. The aliens were humanoid but clearly not human. Some were taller and thinner. Others were shorter with different body proportions. When the shift change began, Taehyung moved the Arirang to an unused docking port on the station's lower ring. The docking process was automated. Their ship locked into place without triggering. "Any alarms, we're in," Taehyung announced quietly. "Environmental suits," Do-hyun ordered. "We don't know what kind of atmosphere they use." The three of them suited up and checked their equipment. Do-hyun carried a portable scanner. Ji-won brought her translation device. Taehyung had tools for accessing alien computer systems. The docking tube connected their ship to the alien station. When they opened the airlock, they found themselves in a dimly lit corridor. The walls were made of some kind of metal that seemed to change color as they moved. "Gravity is close to Earth normal," Ji-won observed. "Temperature is comfortable. They might use a similar environment to humans. Or they adjusted it for our benefit," Do-hyun said grimly. They moved carefully through the corridor. Strange symbols marked doorways and intersections. The architecture was functional but alien. Curved surfaces replaced sharp angles. Lights seemed to flow through the walls, rather than coming from specific sources. Taehyung found an access panel and connected his portable computer. "I'm trying to access their directory system. If I can find their central database, we might learn what they're planning." While Taehyung worked, Do-hyun and Ji-won explored nearby rooms. Most were empty or contained equipment they did not recognize. But in one large chamber, they found something that made them both stop and stare. The room was filled with display cases. Inside the cases were artifacts from dozens of different worlds: weapons, artwork, clothing, tools. Each case was labeled with symbols that Ji-won's translator could not decode. "It's like a museum," Ji-won whispered. "But not for tourists." Do-hyun studied the displays more carefully. Many of the artifacts looked old. Some were clearly from primitive civilizations. Others showed advanced technology. "I think these are trophies or evidence." "Evidence of what?" Before Do-hyun could answer, Taehyung's voice came through their communicators. "Captain, you need to see this. I found their main database." They returned, to find Taehyung staring at his computer screen in shock. "Captain, they have detailed files on 47 different species. Most are marked as graduated to galactic citizenship, but 12 are marked as culturally sterilized." "What does that mean exactly?" Ji-won asked. Taehyung scrolled through the files. It means their civilizations were completely destroyed. Their planets were left empty. The species no longer exist. Do-hyun felt sick. They've done this before. 12 times. There's more, Taehyung continued. Humans are listed as species classification 4B Terra. Status: under evaluation. The file is massive. They have genetic samples, cultural analysis, technological assessment, military capabilities, everything. Ji-won looked over Taehyung's shoulder at the screen. Look at this section. It's titled, Accelerated Development Concerns. Taehyung read the translated text aloud. Human technological advancement exceeds projected parameters by 340%. Aggressive expansion patterns detected. Genetic modifications suggest artificial enhancement by unknown source. Recommendation: immediate evaluation for containment or elimination. Genetic modifications? Do-hyun repeated. What genetic modifications? According to this file, human DNA contains artificial sequences. Someone modified our genes thousands of years ago. The aliens think we were created by another species. Created by who? Ji-won asked. Taehyung continued reading. They call them the Architects, an ancient race that disappeared long before current galactic civilization developed. The aliens are afraid that humans might be the Architects' successors. Suddenly, alarm sounds began echoing through the station. Red lights flashed in the corridors. Alien voices spoke rapidly in languages their translators could not process fast enough. We've been detected, Do-hyun said. Time to go. They ran toward their ship as heavy footsteps echoed behind them. Through side corridors, they could see armed aliens moving to intercept them. The aliens were wearing armor and carrying weapons that glowed with energy. Taehyung reached the docking tube first and began emergency undocking procedures. Ji-won and Do-hyun dove through the airlock as alien security forces arrived at their corridor. Go, 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 Do-hyun shouted. Taehyung fired the engines and pulled away from the station. Energy beams flashed past their ship as alien weapons tried to disable them. But the Arirang was small and fast. They escaped into the asteroid field before the aliens could organize a proper pursuit. Did we get everything? Do-hyun asked, as they put distance between themselves and the hidden station. I downloaded their entire database on humans, Taehyung replied, plus information about the Galactic Council and their procedures for species evaluation. And I recorded everything we saw, Ji-won added, including that museum of dead civilizations. Do-hyun stared back at the empty space where the alien station was hidden. 47 species evaluated, 12 completely destroyed, and now it's humanity's turn. Captain, there's something else, Taehyung said quietly. According to their files, the council meeting is happening in 24 hours, not 72. They moved up the schedule. Why? Because they detected our presence. They know that humans have learned about the Galactic Council. The file says this automatically triggers emergency evaluation protocols. Ji-won checked her translation of the alien messages. They're calling an immediate vote on whether to implement something called the Omega Contingency. And Captain, I don't think that's graduation to citizenship. Do-hyun realized their situation had just become much worse. We have less than 24 hours before they decide humanity's fate. And because we discovered their secret, they're probably leaning toward elimination. As the Arirang raced toward Earth, carrying evidence of humanity's secret watchers, none of them knew that other humans had already discovered the truth about the Galactic Council. And those humans had been preparing for this moment for decades. The Arirang was still 2 hours from Earth when another ship appeared on their sensors. It was sleek and black, with technology that looked both human and alien at the same time. The ship moved with the silence of advanced stealth systems. Unknown. Vessel, this is Captain Lee Do-hyun of the Earth Defense Force ship Arirang. Identify yourself immediately. Captain Lee, this is Ambassador Kang Hyeji, aboard the diplomatic vessel Seoul. We need to talk. Do-hyun looked at his crew in confusion. There's no ambassador named Kang in the diplomatic corps, and I've never heard of a ship called Seoul. Captain, the woman's voice continued, you've just discovered the Galactic Council's observation post. We know because we've been monitoring their communications for 30 years. Please allow us to dock. We have much to explain. Taehyung ran quick scans on the approaching ship. Captain, their technology is definitely not standard Earth defense force, but it's not completely alien either. It's a hybrid, Ji-won realized. Human engineering combined with alien technology. Against his better judgment, Do-hyun allowed the Soul to dock with the Arirang. 3 people came aboard. Ambassador Kang Hyeji was a woman of about 38 with intelligent eyes and the bearing of someone accustomed to dangerous negotiations. With her came Agent Song Woo-bin, a military operative whose equipment was more advanced than anything Do-hyun had seen, and Dr. Lim Sora, a scientist carrying data devices of obvious alien origin. Before you ask, Ambassador Kang said, yes, we work for Earth's government, but not the part of the government that most people know about. We are Section 7 of Earth Intelligence. Our job is to protect humanity from threats that officially don't exist. Like the Galactic Council, Agent Song added. Do-hyun felt dizzy. How long have you known? We made first contact 43 years ago, Dr. Lim explained. A damaged alien scout ship crashed in the Pacific Ocean. The pilot survived long enough to warn us about the Council's surveillance program. 43 years, Ji-won repeated. You've known for 43 years and never told anyone? We told the people who needed to know, Ambassador Kang replied. World leaders, military commanders, key scientists. But public revelation would have caused panic and might have triggered the Council's elimination protocols. Agent Song activated a holographic display that showed detailed schematics of the alien observation post. We've been studying them as much as they've been studying us. We know their technology, their politics, their procedures, and we know that humanity is about to face a species evaluation that will determine whether we live or die. The evaluation was supposed to happen in 5 years, Dr. Lim said. But your discovery of their base has accelerated everything. The Council is meeting in 18 hours to vote on humanity's fate. Tae-hyung looked at the alien technology and Agent Song's equipment. If you've known about this for decades, why haven't you done something? We have done something, Ambassador Kang replied. We've been preparing, building ships with hybrid technology, training diplomats and agents who can operate in alien environments, creating weapons that can fight alien forces if necessary. But most importantly, Dr. Lim added, we've been learning about the architect legacy in human genetics. The Council is right to fear us, but not for the reasons they think. She activated another display showing complex genetic diagrams. The architects didn't just modify human DNA. They embedded evolutionary triggers that activate under specific conditions. Humanity's rapid technological advancement in the last century isn't natural development. It's programmed acceleration. We're living weapons? Ji-won asked. We're living potential, Dr. Lim corrected. The architects designed us to be adaptable, innovative, and capable of rapid growth when faced with external threats. The Council's surveillance has been triggering those genetic programs for decades. Ambassador Kang moved to the main view screen. The Council meeting is happening at the observation post you just escaped from. They've invited representatives from 47 member species to vote on humanity's classification. Most of them are afraid of us. Some want us eliminated immediately. What are our options? Do-hyun asked. Officially, we have none, Agent Song said. Humanity has no representative on the Galactic Council. We're not supposed to know they exist, but we're going to infiltrate their meeting and present humanity's case whether they want to hear it or not. Infiltrate? Tae-hyung looked skeptical. Their security just detected us a few hours ago. Agent Song smiled. Their security detected a human research ship using human technology. They didn't detect us because we've been using hybrid stealth systems for 20 years. Ambassador Kang explained the plan. Dr. Lim has perfected holographic disguise technology based on alien camouflage systems. We can make ourselves appear to be council members from species that rarely attend meetings. We'll enter the observation post as legitimate delegates. That sounds incredibly dangerous, Ji-won pointed out. Everything we do from now on is incredibly dangerous, Ambassador Kang replied. But if we don't act, the Council will vote to eliminate human civilization. At least this way, we have a chance to influence the outcome. Dr. Lim began setting up her disguise equipment. Captain Lee, Your crew discovered the Council's existence independently. That proves human intelligence and determination. We want you to come with us as evidence of humanity's capabilities. Me? Do-hyun was surprised. You and Dr. Park, Agent Song said. Your linguistic skills broke their encryption, Dr. Park. That's exactly the kind of innovative thinking that makes the Council nervous. 2 hours later, Do-hyun and Ji-won found themselves wearing holographic disguises that made them appear to be tall, thin aliens with blue-gray skin. The technology was so advanced that even they could not tell they were looking at humans when they saw each other. The holographic matrix adjusts automatically, Dr. Lim explained. It will maintain the disguise even under close examination, but don't touch any Council security scanners directly. Those might detect the technology. Ambassador Kang, also disguised, led them through the Seoul's advanced docking system back to the observation post. This time they approached as invited delegates rather than intruders. Remember, she said as they prepared to enter the alien station, we represent the Velkan Trade Confederation. We're interested observers who rarely speak during Council sessions. Stay quiet unless directly addressed. The station's interior looked different when approached openly. Alien delegates moved through wide corridors talking in dozens of different languages. Ji-won's translation device worked overtime to process the conversations. Most of the discussions were about humanity. The delegates were afraid. Some called humans dangerous. Others said humans were too primitive for concern. But all of them agreed that humanity represented something unprecedented in galactic history. No species has ever developed so quickly, one delegate said to another. Their technological advancement in just 100 years equals what most species achieve in 10,000. The genetic modifications are definitely architect work, replied the second delegate. But we thought all architect creations were destroyed eons ago. Agent Song guided them toward the main council chamber. It was a vast circular room with seating for hundreds of delegates. Representatives from dozens of alien species filled the seats. At the center, a raised platform held the council leadership. The session began with a review of humanity's file. Do-hyun watched in horror as his species was discussed like a laboratory specimen. The council leaders presented evidence of human aggression, expansion, and technological development. They made humanity sound like a plague that would destroy galactic civilization. But then something unexpected happened. A delegate from the far side of the chamber stood up. This alien was different from the others, older, with scales that seemed to shimmer with their own light. Honored Council, the alien said. I am Councillor Veltar of the Zephyrian Assembly. My people have observed many species evaluations over the millennia, but never have we seen such fear over a species that has never attacked another world, never enslaved another civilization, never committed genocide against their own kind for resources. Murmurs ran through the chamber. Veltar continued. The humans fight among themselves, yes, but they also cooperate in ways that astound us. They risk their lives to save strangers. They share knowledge freely. They create art and music and literature that speaks to universal experiences. They are dangerous because they grow so quickly, another delegate argued. They grow quickly because they adapt, Veltar replied. The same trait that makes them successful makes them valuable as galactic citizens. We should be welcoming them, not destroying them. The debate continued for hours. Do-hyun realized that humanity had more supporters than expected. But the fear faction was larger and more organized. When the preliminary vote was called, elimination won by a narrow margin. The vote is not final, Ambassador Kang whispered. But we're running out of time. That's when alarms began sounding throughout the station. Emergency lights flashed as urgent announcements echoed through the corridors. Agent Song's equipment translated the alien broadcasts. Unknown human vessels detected approaching the station. All delegates to remain in the chamber for security reasons. Through the chamber's viewing ports, they could see ships emerging from stealth. Human ships. Admiral Bae Suho's voice echoed through the council chamber as his fleet surrounded the observation post. The translation systems made his words clear to every alien delegate present. Honored members of the Galactic Council, this is Admiral Bae Suho representing the United Earth Defense Command. We come in peace but prepared for war. We know you are deciding humanity's fate. We ask only for the right to speak before you vote. The council leadership was in chaos. Some delegates demanded immediate military action against the human fleet. Others argued for negotiation. The Fear faction, led by Praetor Zixathara of the Hegemony Coalition, took control of the session. This illegal military action proves everything we have warned about, Praetor Zixathara announced. The humans are aggressive, dangerous, and unwilling to respect galactic law. They must be eliminated before they threaten other species. But Councillor Veltar stood again. They ask only to speak. What does it cost us to listen? It costs us our safety, another delegate shouted. Look at their ships. They have technology that rivals our own. How did a restricted species develop such capabilities? Dr. Lim, still disguised as an alien delegate, whispered urgently to Ambassador Kang. The genetic data I collected shows something important. I need to present it to the council. That would expose our presence, Agent Song warned. It might be worth the risk, Ambassador Kang decided. Dr. Lim, prepare your presentation. Meanwhile, aboard his flagship, Admiral Bay was coordinating with teams throughout the solar system. Report on Omega contingency assets, he ordered. Sir, we've located 14 planet-killer weapons disguised as asteroids, came the reply. They've been positioned throughout the solar system for years. Each one is powerful enough to sterilize. Earth's surface, can we disable them? Teams are in position. But if the Council votes for elimination, those weapons will activate automatically. We have maybe 30 minutes after the vote before Earth is destroyed. Back in the Council chamber, the debate was becoming more heated. More delegates were speaking in favor of human elimination. The Fear faction was winning. The humans claim to come in peace, Praetor Zixathara said, but they bring warships. They claim to respect our authority, but they infiltrate our facilities. They are exactly what we feared the Architect legacy would become. That was when Dr. Lim made her decision. She stood up and deactivated her holographic disguise. The chamber fell silent as a human woman appeared among the alien delegates. Honored Council, she said in perfect alien diplomatic language. I am Dr. Lim Sora of Earth. I have information that will change everything you think you know about humanity and the Architect legacy. Security forces immediately moved toward but Councillor Veltar raised a hand. Let her speak. If we are to judge humanity, we should hear from humanity itself. Dr. Lim activated her presentation system. Holographic displays showed complex genetic data and historical information. You fear humans because our DNA contains Architect modifications. You believe we are weapons designed to replace you. You are wrong. The displays showed genetic comparisons between humans and other species. Every species in this chamber carries Architect genetic modifications. The Relians, the Zephyrians, the Hegemony species, all of you. The Architects did not create humans as weapons. They upgraded every intelligent species they encountered. Shocked murmurs ran through the chamber. Many delegates looked at the data in disbelief. That's impossible, Praetor Zixathara declared. Our genetic analysis shows no artificial modifications. Because your analysis is incomplete, Dr. Lim replied. The Architects were masters of genetic engineering. Their modifications integrate so completely with natural evolution that they become invisible after thousands of generations, but the markers are still there if you know how to look. She changed the display to show comparative development charts. Every species in galactic civilization developed faster than natural evolution should allow. Every species made technological leaps that seem impossible without external influence. The Architects didn't just modify humans, they guided the development of the entire galaxy. But humans develop faster than anyone else, another delegate argued. Because we're newer, Dr. Lim explained. Most of your species received Architect guidance 50,000 years ago or more. Humanity was modified only 10,000 years ago. Our Architect programming is still active because it's still relatively fresh. Councillor Veltar studied the genetic data. Dr. Lim, are you saying that all of us are Architect creations? I'm saying all of us are Architect students, Dr. Lim corrected. They didn't create weapons. They created a galactic civilization capable of learning, growing, and eventually taking their place as guides for younger species. The chamber erupted in arguments. Some delegates refused to believe they carried artificial genetic modifications. Others were fascinated by the implications. But Praetor Zixthara was not convinced. Even if this is true, the Praetor said, it changes nothing. Humans remain dangerous. Their rapid development threatens the stability we have built over millennia. Then why don't we eliminate the Relians? Dr. Lim asked. They developed faster than average. Why not the Zephyrians? They were also aggressive in their early history. Why is human development threatening but yours was acceptable? Because we learned to control ourselves, Praetor Zixthara replied. We became civilized. Humans are civilized, Counselor Veltar said. They have laws, governments, art, philosophy. They cooperate on a global scale despite their differences. They also have weapons capable of destroying their own planet, the Praetor countered. What happens when they turn those weapons on other worlds? That was when Captain Dohyun stood up and also deactivated his disguise. Praetor Zixthara, humans have had planet-killing weapons for 80 years. In all that time, we have never used them against other humans. We've come close, but we always pull back. We've never committed planetary genocide. Can you say the same? Jiwan added, revealing herself as well. According to your own records, this council has culturally sterilized 12 species. You've committed genocide 12 times. Humans have never done that even to each other. The chamber fell silent. The accusation hung in the air like a poison cloud. Those species were eliminated because they were dangerous, Praetor Zixthara said defensively. Or because they were different, Dohyun replied. Or because they developed too quickly. Or because they asked inconvenient questions, just like humans are doing now. Admiral Bay's voice came through the chamber's communication system again. Honored Council, our long-range sensors have detected your planet-killer weapons throughout our solar system. We know about the Omega contingency. If you vote to eliminate humanity, we will fight. We will lose, but we will take as many of you with us as possible. And our deaths will prove your point about human aggression, Praetor Zixthara said with satisfaction. No, Ambassador Kang said, finally revealing herself. Our deaths will prove that some things are worth fighting for, like the right to exist, like the right to grow and learn and make mistakes, like the right to be evaluated fairly instead of being eliminated out of fear. She looked around the chamber at delegates from dozens of species. You've spent thousands of years building this galactic civilization, but what have you built? A system where growth is punished, where innovation is feared, where different species are eliminated for being different. Is that what the architects intended when they guided your evolution? A galaxy where the older species kill the younger ones to maintain their power. The final vote was called. The chamber was divided almost evenly. Some species voted for human elimination out of fear. Others voted for acceptance out of fairness. The deciding votes came from the oldest species in the council. The vote was very close. Too close. When the final tally was announced, elimination had won by just 3 votes. The motion passes, the council leader announced. Humanity is classified as a galactic threat. The Omega contingency is authorized. Alarms began sounding throughout the station. The planet-killer weapons in Earth's solar system were activating. Admiral Bay's fleet prepared for battle against overwhelming odds. But then something happened that no one expected. Ancient systems throughout the galaxy began coming online. Technology that had been dormant for millennia suddenly activated. And from the depths of space, a signal reached every inhabited world in the galaxy. The architects, it seemed, had left more than just genetic modifications behind. They had left guardians, and those guardians had been waiting for someone to threaten their most promising students. The vote to eliminate humanity had just triggered a response that would reshape the entire galaxy. The ancient signal reached every corner of the galaxy within minutes. On thousands of worlds, dormant architect installations came to life for the first time in 50,000 years. The technology was beyond anything the current galactic civilizations possessed. It was patient, vast and completely undeniable. In the council chamber, every communication device activated simultaneously. The voice that spoke was neither male nor female, neither young nor old. It was the voice of artificial intelligence that had been waiting for millennia. I am the architect entity. I speak for those who guided your evolution and departed this galaxy long ago. The time for judgment has arrived. Every delegate in the chamber sat in stunned silence. Even Praetor Zixthera looked frightened. The architects were legend, myth. They were not supposed to still exist. For 50,000 years I have watched the civilizations you built. I have observed your growth, your achievements, and your failures. You have created a galactic community of remarkable diversity, but you have also created fear where there should be wonder, and death where there should be guidance. The entity's attention turned to the human representatives. Humanity, my creator's final students in this galaxy, you have developed according to your programming. You have shown innovation, adaptability, cooperation, and the courage to question authority when authority is wrong. Captain Do-hyun felt the weight of that ancient intelligence examining him. But development is only the beginning. Now you face the true test. What will you do with the power that comes with advancement? The entity addressed the entire council. 12 species have been eliminated by your votes. 12 civilizations destroyed because they grew too quickly or thought too differently. This was not my creator's intention. The galaxy was meant to be a garden where new species could grow and flourish under the guidance of older ones. Instead, you created a system where growth is punished and difference is eliminated. Praetor Zixthera found the courage to speak. Entity, those species were dangerous. They threatened galactic stability. As did you when you were young, the entity replied. As did every species in this chamber. Growth is always disruptive. Change is always threatening to established order, but elimination is never the answer. The entity's attention returned to humanity. Captain Lee Do-hyun, Dr. Park Ji-won, you discovered the Council's existence through intelligence and determination. How do you judge the civilizations that have been watching you? Do-hyun looked around the chamber at aliens who had been deciding whether to kill his entire species. He could feel the anger and fear of his crewmates. But he also remembered Counselor Feltar speaking in humanity's defense. Entity, they're afraid of us because they don't understand us. And they don't understand us because they've never tried to know us. They've only observed us from a distance. Fear makes people do terrible things, Ji-won added. But it doesn't make them evil. Most of these delegates voted against us because they thought we would hurt their families and their worlds. That's not evil. That's just fear. And what would you do about that fear? Dr. Lim stepped forward. We would share our knowledge with them. Show them that our rapid development can benefit everyone. Prove that being different doesn't mean being dangerous. The entity was quiet for a long moment. Throughout the galaxy, ancient installations hummed with power as the intelligence considered humanity's response. Acceptable, it finally announced. Humanity has passed the evaluation. But entity, Praetor Zixthera protested, what about their aggression, their rapid expansion, their military capabilities? What about them? The entity replied. Every species in this chamber has the same traits. The difference is that humanity admits to them instead of pretending moral superiority. The entity addressed the council leadership. The vote to eliminate humanity is overruled. Furthermore, the practice of species elimination is ended. The Omega contingency assets throughout this galaxy are now deactivated permanently. Throughout the solar system, the planet-killer weapons went dark. Admiral Bay's fleet detected the power shutdowns immediately. Entity, Counselor Veltar asked, what happens now? Now you learn, the entity replied. Humanity is granted full galactic citizenship effective immediately. They will join the Council with voting rights equal to any other species. But more than that, they will serve as teachers. Their recent development gives them insights that older species have forgotten. Their questions will challenge assumptions that have gone unexamined for millennia. The entity's attention turned to specific individuals. Ambassador Kang Hyeji will serve as humanity's first official council representative. Captain Lee Do-hyun will command the first joint human-alien exploration mission beyond this galaxy. Dr. Lim Sora will lead the new Genetic Heritage Research Institute, studying the architect modifications in all galactic species. And Dr. Park Ji-won will head the Universal Communication Project, developing translation systems that preserve the meaning and emotion of different languages instead of just converting words. The entity began to fade from the communication channels. My creators left this galaxy to explore beyond known space. They left me to guide their students when guidance was needed. That time is now past. The galaxy is yours to shape. All of yours. Use the wisdom you have gained through both success and failure. Remember that every species was once young and afraid and learning. Treat newcomers as you wish you had been treated. And remember that the greatest civilizations are built not by avoiding danger, but by choosing courage over fear, growth over stagnation, and hope over despair. The entity's presence withdrew completely. The ancient installations throughout the galaxy went dormant again, but they remained ready, waiting for the next time they might be needed to protect growth and learning from fear and stagnation. In the council chamber, thousands of delegates sat in silence. The entire galactic order had just changed in a matter of hours. Species that had been enemies for centuries would now have to work together. Questions that had been forbidden were now encouraged. Praetor Zixthara approached the human delegation. I owe you an apology. Fear made me believe elimination was the only safe choice. Fear makes everyone do things they regret, Do-hyun replied. The important thing is what we do next. I would like to learn more about your species, the praetor said. Perhaps understanding will replace fear. 6 months later, Captain Lee Do-hyun stood on the bridge of the exploration ship New Seoul as it prepared to leave the galaxy. His crew included humans, Zephyrians, Relians, and even a reformed hegemony navigator. They were heading into unknown space beyond the galactic rim, following paths the architects had traveled long ago. Dr. Park Ji-won had established communication protocols between 47 different species. Her translation systems preserved not just meaning but emotion, humor, and cultural context. For the first time, species could truly understand each other, instead of just hearing each other's words. Dr. Lim Sora's research had revealed that every intelligent species in the galaxy carried architect modifications. The discovery had transformed galactic civilization from a collection of separate peoples into a true family of related species. Ambassador Kang Hyeji worked with the Reformed Council to establish new policies for contact with developing species. Instead of observation and evaluation, the galaxy would now offer guidance and friendship to younger civilizations. Earth had become the diplomatic center of the galaxy. The planet that had once been quarantined and threatened with destruction now hosted delegates from every known species. Human cities expanded to accommodate alien visitors. Human schools taught galactic history alongside Earth history, and in the depths of space, dormant architect installations waited patiently for the next species to ask difficult questions and demand better answers. The galaxy was learning to grow again instead of just surviving. As the New Seoul crossed the galactic boundary into unknown space, Do-hyun thought about the long journey from that first intercepted signal to this moment. Humanity had learned they were not alone. They had faced extinction and chosen courage over fear. They had proven that being different was not the same as being dangerous. Captain, his Zephyrian science officer reported, we're detecting artificial signals from the next galaxy. It looks like we're not the first expedition to come this way. Do-hyun smiled. Then we're not exploring alone. Set course for the signal. Source. Let's see who else is asking questions out here. The ship accelerated toward distant stars, carrying representatives of a galaxy that had finally learned the difference between wisdom and fear, between safety and stagnation, between surviving and truly living.